All we need is a little understanding. Walk a mile in their shoes. And if we keep our hearts open-minded, we'll enjoy this wild ride called life. And if we keep our hearts open-minded, we'll enjoy this wild ride called life.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the True Sweet Hide podcast. I'm really excited today. We were just talking before this because the guest that I'm bringing on right now is going to talk about something that we often forget about when we're trying to go through our self-healing journey or become a better version of ourselves. We often forget to dig deep into our mind and our soul and tend to focus on what we could fix, fast fixes on the surface. So I am so excited to bring to you Tommy Walker. He's actually calling us from Argentina. So, oh my gosh, Tommy, thank you so much for connecting and for being on here. I'm really intrigued with this mindset coaching that you do, and I really want you to tell the listeners all about it because I think a lot of us need to hear it.
Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm really honored. I like sharing what I've learned through my path and grow, of course, because as I share, I also listen to myself and I understand more. I get in more depth, so it's really amazing. I help people and they help me too. So it's, both ways. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing. So when you were just saying that, I immediately started thinking, have you always practiced what you preach?
Not really. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I started more or less when I was 16 years old. I read a book. It was what was the name? Sorry, I don't remember now. The Celestine Prophecy. There we go. The Celestine Prophecy, and I always thought there was something more than just the life that we were living, and I wanted to know more. And I was 16. I had a friend at school that he told me that he was taught how to see the aura, and he could see kind of a lining around myself and other people. So I started investigating. I wanted to know more about, our spiritual journey. And back then, imagine, I'm talking about 1994, more or less, where I was the crazy guy with this friend of mine. We were the crazy one, and he wouldn't talk with anyone except me. And I was a little bit more verbal, so I would share a little bit more, and people around me were like, hey, dude, you're crazy. What are you talking about? The aura, spiritual path, meditation, you're crazy. So for some time, I went down that path, trying to discover more, reading some books, hypnotherapy. I tried many things to be able to, of course, start unleashing my spiritual path, become a little bit more spiritual along the way. But there was no way. I was just stuck. I was the crazy guy. It was weird. Imagine being 16, 17 years old. I was already the weird guy back then, and imagine on top of that, I was even the more weirdo. So it wasn't easy for me. I struggled a lot growing up. In my perception, like my parents did the best they could. They weren't bad parents, but in my perception, I was the black sheep in my family. Oh. I didn't follow what they expected me to do since I was a kid, like you got to behave. I didn't behave. You got to shut up. I didn't shut up, so I was kind of always told that I wasn't behaving. And that in the mind, what creates is this self-doubt that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you're inadequate. And my parents didn't do it on purpose at first, but as they treated me like that, because I was the difficult one, I believed those things. So as I grew up, I was a weirdo at school. I was bothered a lot. I started this journey, so I was even the biggest weirdo in the school. So after, I think it was like a year of struggle, reading, learning, and stuff like that, I said, this is not the path. I got to quit this because I'm not accepted by anyone. I would talk to people, and they're like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. So people thought I was kind of the weirdo, outside of school, everywhere. So I said, I got to switch it off. I don't know, just let go. So I just quit that. And to make it a bit fast, from that, more or less, imagine that was 1997. Till 2008, I just lived a regular life, trying to seek something different, but mostly on the outside. And in 2009, my best friend that in school, he told me that I was the weirdo. he went into a path and he told me, hey, Tommy, I just went to a spiritual teacher, coach, mentor, that she talked about the things you talked when we were like 16 years old. I think you should go there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's recommending me to go see her. So I said, okay, I'm going to go work with her because what you're telling me, I love it. So I got into the path again. And since then, now 10 years later, I've been going down that path and it's been amazing. And self-discovery every day. Like some people say like, oh, you know, I'm self-aware. I'm sorry, that's your ego. If you're saying you're self-aware, it's like, no, it's a path that you're walking. It's not something that you obtain and you're done, you know? So I'm there discovering my self-awareness, you know, every day more.
Wow. So now that you've done that and he recommended to you, are people starting to really listen?
Yes. I started a business 17 years ago and I started emergency care. Like I had my calling to serve others. So I went into emergency care to be able to help others in their physical part. You know, if they got hurt, they had a headache, they had a heartache or whatever, I would work with them as emergency care. But along the way, I started to also incorporate these teachings into that too. So I started working with my students because I was training them in becoming a greater version of themselves too, not only on caring for other people and, you know, saving lives, as I call it, quote unquote, because we're not here to save lives. We're here to help others. That could save a life, but if, you know, the different approach. So started helping them in becoming a greater version with their mind too, not just only, you know, helping others in an emergency, but also in their mind too. And I started seeing a lot of results. So I started covering more and more along the way, and a lot of people started listening. I even was invited to several conferences around the world. I've been in Mexico, I've been in Colombia, I've been in Ecuador, I've been in Chile, Argentina, and around the States, offering some lectures around mindset in emergency care and in other areas too.
Wow. That's incredible. So when you're talking to the emergency care and someone is it at the hospital or in
emergency care on ambulance? Thank you. Yeah, I didn't say that. Sorry. Emergency care on an ambulance. That's what I mainly trained for many years.
Okay, so when you're with them, how are you speaking to them to where you're just calming them down, or can you walk us through what you do when you're with them? And because I know when you're there, it's a stressful situation. So
most of the cases, like people are going through a very difficult time, and we're treating the emergency right there. You know, like there's sometimes not much talking, but many other cases. I used to do some ride-alongs going out in ambulances in the States, and we go through different places where there were old people, you know, and these old people, most of the times they were alone, they felt loneliness. So what I would like to do, apart from taking the vitals, you know, and everything, was having a chat with them and seeing how they were doing. Like I remember many years ago, we went to see a guy that he was supposedly suicidal. He had drank a lot of alcohol because he wanted to take his life away because his girlfriend had left him, and he was pretty sad. And what I did was just talk to him and listen to him. And throughout the ride, it was like a 10-minute ride to the hospital, we just spoke. And when we got to the hospital, he looked at me in the eyes and said, "Thank you very much." And it was really good because he felt listened. And that's all I did. I would paraphrase whatever he told me and say back to him, "So you're telling me blah, blah, blah." And he felt listened. And maybe it was the first time in years that somebody sat down and listened to him and made him feel listened. And that kind of, he just clicked there a little bit, you know. I don't know what happened afterwards. I didn't follow up. But this guy was very thankful that I just listened to him. When we start talking about spirituality, it's like, you are me, I am you, you know, we're all interconnected. So it's like, I wouldn't fight with my fingers. I wouldn't fight with my fists, you know, one arm with the other. Why would I do that? So why would I fight with you? Why would I treat an alcoholic or drug addict or somebody like, oh, that guy has issues? We all have issues. He went into drugs. Other person go into meditation. Other go into the gym, you know? And you say, but what are you talking about, Tommy? Yes, it's true. And that some people go to the gym to disconnect from the pain. And a person might have drugs to disconnect from the pain. So it's very easy to judge others, but we got to start at home first. What am I doing to calm down my pain? because most of us run away from our pain.
That's all. You're absolutely right. I actually posted a quote today that made me think of what you were talking about just now, and it's, we are not our thoughts, we are the response to them.
There you go.
Thought that was just it just hit me. Sometimes, you know, when you scroll through Instagram or Facebook or something, you find a quote like right when you didn't even think you needed it. And so of course I saved that one, and I was like, that is so true, because we let our own thoughts paralyze us and take over our whole being. So I love the quote that you had posted when you were wanting to be on the show, and I love reading these because some of them are just so profound. And the one I wanted to share really quick was when you said you work on your mind, get rid of the programs in your subconscious mind that are holding you back, and that you want to help people identify and remove mental blocks to get unstuck and take their life and or business to the next level. So when you run into people that are stubborn and they think they know it all and they don't want to really listen, how do you try to convince them that it starts from much deeper? You know, you have to really dig deep into why you want to do the things that you do, or why do you do the things that you do. So how do you work with that?
I love what you just said. I got two things to tell you. The first one is, I used to try to convince people at the beginning, because when I started my path, I was like, whoa, everybody has to follow this path, you know? My life changed, so I want to, it was an invitation, but I used to be very, very energetic and, powerful when I say things. And I would just, hey, come here, I trying to convince people. And I lost a lot of friends. I had lots of problems with the family, because they were trying, they thought I was pushing them in there. I wasn't pushing them, but it was kind of pushing them. After a while, I started realizing that it was my self-doubt. I wanted more people in my path, but like part of me, don't get me wrong, but part of me, I want people in the path because I want to be able to help others, Mm-hmm. But from my self-doubt, I wanted people in my path because that made me feel secure. Mm-hmm. When I realized that, I started working that, now I tell people, somebody says, like the other day I was talking to a guy, he's like, yeah, I'm having trouble with my business. I cannot grow my business. I have fired people. I have hired more people. I have changed. He had tried everything business-wise, and his business wasn't growing. So I told him, it's not the business, buddy. You're taking actions from the wrong mental state. And he's like, no. I got to change something in my business. What do I need to change? No, I told him, you got to change your mind. Then the business is going to change. No, I need to change the business. So I told him, okay, so if you need to change the business, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm sorry, this is not the work for me. Thank you, take care. And I just hung up the phone. I wasn't going to try to convince him. I tried one or time talking to him, didn't work. And I don't want to throw away my energy. I want to put my energy in people that want to listen, that want to, are open to see something different. Because I tell people, imagine 100 or 200 years ago, I would have told you that we're going to be flying on the sky. You're going to say, like, Tommy, you're crazy. The earth is not flat, it's round. Tommy, you're crazy. We're going to go to the moon. Tommy, you're lunatic, But people came with different ideas. We know some didn't work and some did work. So we got to be open. Like I tell people, how do we know if in the future, look at what we're going to say, this is going to sound very crazy, but I don't care. How do we know that in the future, I don't know, maybe 100, 200, 300 years from now, we're going to be able to levitate? Yeah. Nobody can say no.
Right.
So it's crazy, I know. But, I want to be that open, that we are going to be able to do things that we don't even think about. That's how I think the human potential is. And we're using 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever you want to call it, from the brain, our spiritual being, whatever. We're using so little of us, that our potential is so big. So I'd rather think that maybe in the future we're going to be able to levitate and do miracles that we now call miracles, and maybe they're current things in the future. I'd rather think like that than be closed-minded and say, like, no, that's impossible. We could have said that's going to the moon, that flying an airplane, and so many things that were possible along the way with the correct tools. Maybe we need the right mind tools to be able to accomplish things that we still don't know are possible, you know?
Yeah, no, I love that, and I'm sitting here listening, and I'm starting to think, how do you talk to people who are dealing with mental health? And my example is, I suffered for decades. I'm in my mid 40s, and it took me up until now to finally say, yes, I suffer from, PTSD, depression, anxiety, but I'm going to choose to live with it instead of suffer from it and use that mess as my message. I've decided that this is okay, but I'm going to do more with it. So that was a big mindset shift for me, like huge, because it took me over 40 years to finally say, this is it. I can't live like this. I need to do something more positive with it, or it's just going to paralyze me. So how do you help people like that who are so stuck in that deep, dark hole and they don't know how to get out of it?
Look at this, what I'm going to tell you, and thank you for sharing that. And that was one of the big things I shifted from EMS care into the mental part, because I saw so many people in EMS care, health professionals, doctors, nurses, paramedics, police, firefighters, struggling so much. And they don't know what to do. And you know what? And until today, they're still addressing it the wrong way. I'm sorry, I don't want to mean that I know everything, but the way they are addressing it in the States, if you look at the statistics, they're going up: suicidal, depression in EMS care and all around that areas. And on top of that, on regular people too, that they're not doing those type of line of works. I mean, okay. So if things are going wrong, it's because we're addressing them the wrong way. So look at this. I'm going to bring this up, that this is what changed my life. It's not about changing you, Annette, today. I cannot change who you are today by addressing you today. And that's unfortunately how psychology works and how so many therapies work. Talk to you today, see how you take, go a little bit to your past, remember your past, and then go back to your present circumstances. I'm going to say something that's weird, and this is how I work, and this is how I get results with people. I've been working with people that have been doing 5 years of therapy, 10 years of therapy, and in a little work with me, they start seeing changes that they haven't seen in 10 years of therapy. And this is not a miracle. This is not, some quick fix or anything. It's going to the source. So Annette, you have developed depression, PTSD, and all of those things because you went through struggling situations since you were a kid. Mm-hmm. Those struggling situations created messages, scripts, narratives that I call programs in your mind. So those programs are in your subconscious mind, and most of the time we're not even aware. I talk to people that tell me, I wake up in the morning anxious, and I don't even know why. There's no reason why. And I tell them there's always a reason why. The problem is you're not aware of the reason. And it has to do with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, and that runs 90% of our mind. And it's the autopilot. It's what we're normally, most humanity have no idea what's in there. It's like the black box. So if I had a parent that hit me, if I had a parent that were very strict with me, I've been abused, different ways of abuse that you could have gone through, whatever happened in my childhood, it created these scripts, these narratives. And the main ones could be, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, And all of that was created when you were a kid, not today, Annette. It keeps reinforcing today, but it came from your childhood. So the work that I do is I put a face to your subconscious mind. Who? Little Annette. So we go into your subconscious mind to find little Annette and see what she went through. Dad was hitting her. Like the other day I was working with a woman she was 8 months old. Dad hit her so hard that she fell. She was knocked against the wall in the kitchen from her chair, baby chair, to the wall and landed on the floor. And Dad started, screaming at her because she was crying. 8 months old. So we went back to find that little girl and see what she was feeling. And you're going to say, it's obvious what she's feeling. You need to process those emotions. Those emotions were put in a bag and kept in there because Dad wasn't allowing her to express. Nobody was there to protect her. So she felt today that she didn't feel protected. She didn't feel loved. She didn't feel worthy. So we went back in time. The subconscious mind has no time. So we were able to find this event from her childhood. We started listening to little Annette expressing, a baby, but still she could express what she was feeling through you, because you are her, she is you. She started expressing all what was going on. And we went through a specific process that I have learned to be able to get rid of all the negative emotions, understand them, acknowledge them, accepting them, learning. Because out of a negative emotion, you create a belief. I'm not good enough. Dad doesn't love me. If I don't behave, Dad doesn't love me, or whatever you made up in your mind. And we start addressing that, and we start talking to little Annette and tell her, Annette, it wasn't you. Dad had issues, and he treated you like that, but it's not you. It's him that he has issues. And you, Annette, you stand as the protector from now on, and you tell little Annette that you're going to start protecting her. And the other thing that's very different to many of the things that I've seen out there, you need to understand that it's not just, saying affirmations, very nice to Annette, I love you, and everything is going to be fine. Because you know what, Annette? Many times we treat ourselves as our parents treated us. So imagine that I show up to my little Tommy as the aggressor and tell him that I'm going to protect him. What is little Tommy going to feel? No, I don't want you to protect me if you're not protecting me. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy or weird, but it's mind-blowing, and I've seen amazing results with this.
I think it really makes sense, because that's what we were talking before, in order for me to write my book, I had to go back. I had to go back to when I was 9, and things happened to me, but I had to process it again in order for me to get it out into the book, to state true facts and all that. So what you're saying, to me, it makes sense, because that's what I had to do. And it's not easy, but I feel more at peace now because I had to do that. Because for so many years, I was just suppressing it, pushing it aside. And then, I went through relationships in my life and whatever, and didn't really understand why I was doing the things I was doing until I stepped back and said, okay, now I know. I mean, it's not all the right answers, but like you said, you have to talk to your past self, your little self, and figure out, how you were feeling. So I believe it. I believe it, but I think it's because I had to do it. Now, for other people out there, it might not be ready to do that. And I think that's what's difficult. I think you have to want to, you have to be ready, because nobody can force you to do it, because then you'll block it out and you'll just push it aside and you'll put up this defense wall and say, I can't. So I mean, that's amazing work. I appreciate that you do that, because I think we need people like that versus some of the other people that we have out there who try to fix it with pills, or, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to talk bad about those people, because I've had those people, but I think that's what we need to bring awareness to, is we need to dig deep in order to fix some of these problems, and it's not going to be cured with the medication. It's not always. Maybe some people, but not everybody. And so I think we need more people like you who will really get in there, and it'll change your life. It really will.
It will. The thing is, you're seeing it as pills, but unfortunately now it's as media. It's as some podcast, motivational speakers. Yeah. If I'm looking for motivational speakers because I'm feeling down and I need somebody to pump me up, if I don't learn to pump myself up, I'm going to always need somebody. So it's a crutch. Yeah, so at the end, it's still another pill. Unfortunately, I got to be honest. Some people tell me they're a motivational speaker. No, I don't want to be that. I want to help you motivate yourself, because if I'm got to motivate you, you're going to be running after me. And yes, I'm going to make tons of money, but I'm not here for that. I'm here to serve and to get the best result out of you, your best version, not a person running after me. That's not my idea. It wasn't my spiritual teacher's idea, okay? And it's not my idea either. She gave me the tools to become a greater version of myself and try to learn how to pump myself up. Sometimes, of course, you need it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's like, okay, I want to see a nice video, learn something. But if you're running after things to feel happy, to feel good, to feel positive, that new age right now in a negative way, the positivity era, you got to be positive. BS. Negativity is in you from your past that needs to be processed. And as you said, if I'm positive, I'm pushing away the negativity that is within me. I'm not letting it out. So what do I need? I need to process it, to release it, to feel lighter. The lighter I feel, I elevate my frequency, the more I'm connected with myself and with the surrounding.
Yeah.
So there's not only pills out there, there's tons of different ways to cover the pain. It could be over Messenger, it could be media, it could be watching whatever movies you want to watch. If you do something to disconnect from the pain, that's a quote unquote, small addiction.
So, wait. So wait. So I often speak about how it's okay to not be okay. It's okay.
Yes.
You need that time out because you are just you're sad that day. But I also make sure to state that start again tomorrow. You have to keep starting again. You have to keep trying. And I also have stated that sometimes I use Netflix or TV as my escape for the moment. So okay. I guess that is my crutch. That's my crutch because for that moment, I know that if I'm working on a podcast or the book and I'm not 100% able to be there in my mind, then I have to step away and I'll go watch TV, but I'll come back. So,
but let me add something in there 1 second.
Yes.
The intention is the most important thing. Okay. If I'm running away from something to watch Netflix, the intention is protection. I'm protecting myself from the pain. Yeah. If I'm just taking a break, look at this. If I'm taking a break from a long day of work and I want to relax, that's very different. But if you're sitting at the book, look at this example. So I'm going to bring it down to earth so it's easy to understand. If you're sitting at the book and you're blank, you cannot write, you're getting frustrated, and you go see Netflix, that's an escape. You see the difference?
Yes.
Why? Because you're feeling frustrated, and instead of understanding your frustration, where it comes from, what is bringing as a learning experience, and that's what most people do, and I do it sometimes, don't get me wrong, I got a lot of things to work on still, until I'm not levitating, I'm still working with myself, but the thing is, I got work to do, we all got work to do, but if, again, I'm stuck, I gotta find out, this is making me feel frustrated. Why am I feeling frustrated? What does that make me feel about me? That I'm not good enough, whatever comes up. So then you can tie it up with your past. So every struggle we're going through is an opportunity. The universe is bringing to your doorstep your little package to work with. It's a present it's bringing. I know it's not nice, but look, I tell this to everyone in it. So when do you mostly grow? When you're sitting, having a coffee, enjoying a day, or when you're struggling?
For me, when I'm struggling.
That's for everyone. Some people don't want to accept it, but that's for everyone. Like if I see these big gurus saying like, oh, I live happy 24/7. That's BS. That's crap. That's the ego. Because if you're not struggling, struggle is not a bad word. That's the problem. People think that struggle is a bad word. Struggle is not a bad word. Struggle, it's our way of growing. If you're not struggling, you're not growing. You're not doing nothing new. You're stuck in your comfort zone. So I see so many people there selling all these pills, these crap out there to the people, and people are getting it because, as you said, healing your past, reprogramming your past is painful. And I've told people, this is going to be painful. Oh, no, I don't want painful. Great, go find somebody else. Sorry, but I cannot work like that. This is a painful process, but it's going to bring amazing changes in your life along the way. But you got to do the work. It's like, oh, I want to be fit, and I'm drinking and eating, crap food. I got to go out and do some exercise. It's painful, yes, but that brings healthy body, healthy mind is a little bit painful too.
You're so right. Well, thanks for that. Making me feel better.
It's okay to go watch Netflix. There's nothing wrong. But you know what? If you're frustrated, write down, I feel frustrated, write down something so that you can come back after Netflix and deal with it. Because that's going to be something that's going to hold you back all the time. And if you address it next time, you're not going to feel so frustrated. You're going to be able to learn and even write about it and evolve, grow.
Yeah.
Grow in consciousness, because that's what we're doing, growing in consciousness.
You're right. You're right. I heard you, Tommy. I'm loving you right now because you're right. I mean, there's no excuses. That's what it is. So I hope you guys are listening, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna be hard, but trust me, I think once you do some of these things that he's saying, it's gonna change you. It's gonna be hard, but you'll feel so much better. Like this release and this peace, and it's just gonna make things so much clearer for you. So yeah, gosh.
Peace of mind, lightness, that's what we all want, freedom in our mind. Now they're talking, and then they're talking about financial freedom. That's a new crap. Financial freedom. That's BS. There's no financial freedom. I work with people that make tons of money, and they're still not feeling free. So it has nothing to do with the amount of money you have. It's in your mind. I have people that have very little money and they feel freedom, they feel lightness in their head, in their body, and people that have tons of money that they don't. So financial freedom is a bunch of crap. I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. Everything is in the mind.
Yeah. No, you're
everything.
My kids used to say, "Oh, I want to be rich," and I say, "You know what? I don't want to be rich, because money can make you. It could change people. So it really is. It's in your mind, and it's how you use it and how what you use it for. It's just, there's a laundry list of things, and I try to teach them that, because it's not about being rich, because money can't always make you happy and make you free. So,
but look, can we go a little bit deeper, if you don't mind? There is that. Are you open for this?
Go ahead.
So you should ask yourself, why are you saying I don't want to be rich? What is that triggering? But you said some things. It doesn't bring happiness. It changes you. So I got a question for you. If I have a piece of paper here, money. Okay, here, money. Can money, that piece of paper, change me? Or do I change with that piece of paper in my power, in my hand?
Yeah.
Who chooses?
That is a good question. I don't want to change for that piece of paper, for that money.
So then you have a false belief that you might change if you have money.
Because I know my past with money. I used to.
But that doesn't dictate your future, innit?
You're right. You're right. I just know how I used to be. I used to.
There you go. How you used to be. Past.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So you have false beliefs around money, and Annette, we all have them. That's the big problem in the world. Everybody has money issues. Since we were kids, Annette, remember, we have nearly the same age. Remember when we were kids, the movie we watched, many movies, that's what many movies, had the bad guys that had money, and then the rest of the people. So we were programmed since we were kids that having money was something bad. So if I ask you, I heard this, I didn't invent this, I heard it from somebody, so I'm going to share this. I don't even remember who it was, but if I ask you, Annette, do you want from 1 to 10, health-wise, what number would you like to have of health, 1 to 10?
Not 1. Now I want 1, but before probably not.
No, from 1 to 10, if 10 is the best health you can have, okay, how much health would you like to have? From 1 to 10.
Probably 9.
Okay. So happiness, from 1 to 10, how much would you like to have?
1.
1? Why 1?
Because I know how it felt to not be happy, to be so sad all the time. And I don't know. Well, maybe now I can't explain it.
So if you can choose to be 10 happiness, very happy, would you rather have 1?
Oh,
that's what you meant?
No, okay.
Maybe you didn't answer. Sorry, I didn't. Maybe you didn't understand my question. That's right. Let's go back again.
Okay.
So from 1 to 10, 10 being the healthiest, 10 being the most happiness, 10 being free, 10 being whatever I'm going to ask you the best, and 1 being nothing. From 1 to 10, happiness. How much happiness do you want in your life?
10.
Health-wise.
I said 9 before.
It's okay. 9 or 10. That's fine.
Okay.
You can change that number if you want.
Let's do 10.
Okay. Money.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Right? Yeah.
You see, for everyone, and it is a hard one. We were taught that having money is a bad thing. Why can't you have 10 money? And 10 money could be for you enough to live, enough to be, have your own house, your own car, be able to pay your expenses, travel. For everyone is different. But we have that mindset that if we have too much money, there's too much money. For everybody could be different. But if I have more money, it could change me. I could become a bad person, and all those things. And I had them too, and I'm still working on them, don't get me wrong. But I had many of them that when I had a lot of money in it, I had to spend it. I couldn't save money. Because if I had money, I was a bad person. Money changes you. That's not true. I decide to change with money. I have those false beliefs. And if somebody changed with money, the money is just an excuse. It could have been with power. It could have been with whatever. When people change, it's not the power that changes them. They change with the power they get. Does that make sense?
No, that's true. No, yeah, that makes sense. That's true. Yeah.
The money mindset is the most difficult one. We all have it, and most people don't want to. I work with people that tell me, Annette, how much money you don't have? 1 to 10, 10. Money is good. Money is, and they throw out positivity out there. We start going to their subconscious mind, and they start, money is bad. Money screwed up my family. My dad screwed up my family with the money. Money brings fights. Money brings divorce.
Yeah.
Consciously, they think they want money, but subconsciously, they're rejecting the money because it brought problems in their family.
Yeah.
That's why most people struggle with money.
Yeah, you're right.
Because deep down, they don't want it. Sorry to say that, but deep down, they don't want it. Look, you're the example. You're saying it, like, no, I don't want to be rich. What is rich? Maybe you're thinking about billions. Maybe you're thinking about tenths of millions. I don't know.
Right.
But for a poor person, I don't know, a person that's earning $10 a day, $10 a month, you are rich.
Right.
Everything is a perception.
Right.
There's no truth to like what is rich or what is not. And then what you do with your money, it's up to you. You choose, not the money chooses what you do. But again, you need to change that subconsciously from your past to be able to start standing in another place. I'm standing in another place, and because I've been doing all this work, and it's amazing how it's changing in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm working, and I tell people around me, I'm having, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like this, I'm not cocky, but I'm having more power and being able to reach more people, and I'm being invited to conferences, and I'm always trying to be the most humble person I can. Like, I'm always learning. If you come and say, hey, Tommy, I'm not with you, I don't like what you're saying. Okay, tell me, Annette, what do you think about this? Why don't you try to be open, because I'm learning too. Right. Sometimes I guard myself because I might have something that triggered my insecurity from my past, something. But then I stand up in my true self. Okay, what do I have to learn? I'm working on that, of course,
Right.
But we're here to learn and to evolve. So I got more power than I used to have. And I'm always trying to serve more people. What I say, I love the phrase from Spider-Man, with more power comes more responsibility. And I say, and more chances to serve more people.
I like that. Yep.
Like, to give you a small example, I have another business where I have some offices. When I go to my business, to the offices, I do the work that my employees have to be doing. I help them out, and I even grab a broom and pass a broom through maybe a room to show them that I can put my, sleeves up and do the work that they do for me. Why? Because I want to show them that I'm there for them too. Here comes Tommy, the boss, No, I don't want that. I want respect, of course, for each other, but I'm not the boss.
Right.
I'm the leader. I'm showing a way, and you follow if you want. Don't follow me because you have to. No. That's what I believe in service. The more power I have, the more money I have, the more I can serve others.
No, I like that. That makes absolute sense. As you were saying that, I was thinking how when I was in the military, I was taught to lead by example. So even though I was in charge of soldiers, it didn't stop me from getting in there with them and doing what they were doing or being there with them, because I wanted them to see that just because I was their commanding officer doesn't mean that I'm not willing to get dirty with them. I didn't want them to think that, oh, she was too good enough. She was too good to be with us. I never wanted it.
There you go.
So
we can take that to our daily life too.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if everybody would act like that in the daily life. Imagine what this world will be. It will be another world. Right. We have the power to change this world. Like I hear people saying, like, oh, then the next Jesus Christ is going to come back again. He's going to save us and all these, blah, blah, blah. No, we have to be our own saviors. That's what Jesus taught us. And if you look all the avatars around the world, all of them taught us how to be our own saviors.
Right.
Not expect somebody to come and save us. Expect somebody to come and save us. We're putting our power to somebody else. No.
Right. It's up to us.
Exactly. We got to set the example. And don't get me wrong, I make mistakes and I grow from them. I sometimes stand up on that cocky place, like power place, and then, whoa, I don't want to be here, and I go back to my place and I'm here to serve. I'm here to help others.
Right. Powerful. Absolutely powerful. Oh my gosh. Well, I know we could talk about this for hours. It's so insightful and I'm learning so much. So I hope everyone else is learning too, because this is so it's making my mind race and rethink, how I'm thinking about things. So it's been incredible. Oh gosh. So I know you say you work with people. So how can people find you? Where can they sign up or, get your emails to work with you?
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook, Tommy Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy MY, Tommy Walker. I have Facebook had blocked me some time ago, so I have some profiles there, but look for the one that says Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer. That's kind of the official one.
Okay.
And if not, they can look me up in internet as www.unleashingyourmindset.com. Unleashingyourmindset.com. There's some information there. There's a website. They can reach out there, a form for email or just some other information about my background. I do different things, so they can just reach out. But the most important thing, and it is start writing down, the money that you were saying right now about rich and things. I tell my kids, they tell me, I want to be rich. And I ask them, why do you want to be rich? Because I want to buy things. Okay, that's good. There's nothing wrong, But again, it's the intention around it. Because I don't want them to be raised with I was raised with, if you have your own business and you make a lot of money, you're a bad person. Mm-hmm. You're doing something corrupt. That's the message I got when I was a kid. So I'm telling my kids, you can be rich if you want. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If they're rich and helping people and feeding people that they cannot afford, serving others, I'd rather have them be rich. But I don't want to limit their mindset on, don't be rich. Because it's out of scare that I'm doing that, out of fear. I'm doing that because I don't want them to be like me when I was like maybe what your past that you were saying, right. Or maybe you had somebody in the family that screwed up the rest of the family with money. So now you're scared that if they have money, they're going to fight.
Right.
Not necessarily. If you work guiding them and building their self-esteem, their service to others, there's a less chance they're going to fight. And you know what? Family can fight over a piano, they can fight over a car, or they can fight over money. If they're going to fight, they're going to fight over anything.
Right.
No,
you're right. And I really appreciate that. You're so right. It is the intention. It's all about what you're going to do with that money. So completely changed my mind. You're right. And that's what I need to teach the kids. Because it's true. I mean, because I grew up with money being ugly. So that's why I'm like, I don't. So, yeah. No, absolutely right. I like that.
Go find little Annette and find the little Annette that's thinking the money is wrong. You got to go to your subconscious mind. Now you understand consciously, but remember your subconscious mind is going to override that every time.
Right.
Every time. So now you got to go find little Annette and talk to little Annette. Find her when she was suffering with money. Maybe they didn't buy her what she wanted. Silly things that we think, oh, it's silly. She didn't get what she wanted. That's a very big deal for a kid. Not getting what he wanted or she wanted, and not getting an explanation of why she's not getting it. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
We as parents, we're not supposed to give everything to our kids. Don't get me wrong. But if we don't give them something, we need to explain to them. Our generation suffered a lot of lack of communication. So when my parents didn't buy something, it was, no, you're not supposed to do that. Why? No, because I say so. There were no explanations. Yeah. We need to start explaining to our kids why we're deciding things so they don't create a conclusion out of what's going on. Right. If you don't buy them what they want, they're going to think, I don't deserve it.
Yep.
No, it's not that you don't deserve it. Look, I already bought this, this, and this. Or it's not time yet. We're going to wait for your birthday. Or you know what? We have money, but right now we're saving for something else. We got to wait for a little bit. Let me, explain to your kids. That's going to build a better relationship, better communication, and much more self-worth for them. One more thing, and I'm going to be finishing, but our kids don't see themselves. They don't know who they are. How do they see themselves? Through our reflection back to them. So they see how I treat them. How I treat them is how they see themselves. So if I treat them bad, they're going to think that they're not good enough. If I don't make them feel foolish, I compete with them, I bully them, whatever, they're going to start creating conclusions in their mind, the scripts. I'm not good enough, I'm inadequate, I got to behave to get love, I got to do this to be loved, but that doesn't love, whatever. And that's all the things that we're carrying along our life that are holding us back in our life or in our business.
You're absolutely right. No, I'm glad you said all that stuff, because it's true. We were raised in a completely different generation, and so it's up to us to change it to make it a better place for our kids. So absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I love it. All right, you guys, go find Tommy Walker on unleashingyourmindset.com. I will put this in the show notes, and I will put this in the podcast guide. So make sure you are subscribed to that to get all the information about all of our guests and where to find them. So thank you so much, Tommy. I'm really excited. I'm honored that you were on here.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I hope this helps you and the rest of the listeners. Take care.
Yeah. I hope it helps everybody else, but I think so. I think it definitely will. Thank you.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Thank you for listening to the Truth We Hide podcast, created and founded by your host, Annette, the founder of A Wild Ride Call Life. Also, a big thank you to all of our sponsors for each and every episode that is aired. We have so much support from them and all of our listeners. You can find more information at www.awildridecalllife.com.